Hi, and welcome back to Real Estate with Lou the Shoe, where I talk about everything regards to real estate. What I'm going to be doing next for my videos is I'm going to be talking about the steps that are involved in buying your first property. So, with that being said, steps 1 and 2 are going to be both included in this video right here. And please, if you like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe so I can give you more content. Before I get into today's video, I did want to talk to you guys real quick about a webinar I will be hosting on May 1st for first-time home buyers. So this webinar that I'm going to be putting together, we're going to have an attorney, we're going to have an inspector, and we're going to have a mortgage officer. So the 4 of us together are going to be talking for a total of about 60 minutes, give or take a couple minutes. It's going to be recorded and it will be all through Zoom. So I'm going to strongly encourage all you guys to show up because you will not want to miss it. For that webinar there, we're going to be giving away $1,000 towards your next closing costs. And that's for everybody that signs up for the webinar and attends. So you could be potentially getting $1,000 towards your next purchase. That's going to be $500 from the mortgage officer, $250 towards your closing costs from the attorney, and then $250 towards your next closing costs via myself. Obviously, you will have to use us in order to get that $1,000. It's going to be a credit from us for using us in the future. And we also will be raffling off a $100 gift card from Home Depot given by that home inspector as well. So please attend. It's going to be a good time and you might very well get some great information from it. So to get back to the video, step 1 is going to be find out if buying a home is right for you. So number 1, the biggest reason why people buy homes is because you can customize it how you want and you can build equity. Now, if you are renting, that money that you're paying each month, it just goes to the landlord. It doesn't necessarily go to yourself, so unless you're doing a rent-to-own option. So here we have pro number 1 is you can pay yourself the rent instead of paying somebody else's mortgage. Now, this might seem like an obvious one for you, but for a lot of people, they don't really know what entails to buy a home. So they're just like, you know what? I'm okay with renting. It's below my budget and I can afford it. Pro number 2 is going to be there's no restrictions on pets or animals when you own your own property. I know there's a lot of people that have issues with renting and with finding places to live because they want to own a dog or because they have a dog and they can't really find a place that'll accept pets, or they will have to pay a lot more because they own a pet. Number 3 is going to be you can renovate and customize the property as you like. So now, if you don't own the property, it's not yours. So technically, the landlords might get a little upset if you start trimming the bushes and start putting stuff in other places that aren't supposed to be there. And also a con to owning your own home is going to be that home maintenance. So just because you could do as you like means you will have to do as you like. In other words, you're going to have to trim those bushes, you're going to have to take care of the lawn, you're going to have to shovel the driveway, and you're going to have to take care of all the repairs that might very well happen or will happen in the future. Now, conversely to having your own home and doing what you want with it, it's also difficult to move locations, or more difficult versus if you were just renting. If I was renting and I wanted to move to a different state, all I do is tell the landlord, get all my stuff, pack it up, pack it in a bag, and ship across. And boom, there you have it. I'm in a new location and that's all I had to do. All of the interest that you pay on the mortgage, that 3%, 4%, or if you're lucky enough to get anything under 3%, it is all tax deductible. So even though it is another cost that you pay the taxes on your property, it is tax deductible where you can at least pay a lesser portion, because in your first years, especially for owning a home, that's when you're going to pay the most on the interest. If you're the type of person that wants more privacy and they're sick of living next to neighbors, or they're sick of living in an apartment complex, that is another additional benefit of owning your own home. And the last thing I wanted to talk about for pros and cons for buying a home is your fixed monthly payments. So instead of renting, where theoretically if you rent somewhere, the landlord can keep raising rents and then you're ultimately screwed if they keep going up. If you own a home, you have fixed monthly payments for your taxes, insurance, and mortgage. So it's a little bit different than waiting for the landlord to increase rent every year. When buying a home, you have larger upfront costs versus if you were renting and moving places while renting. For instance, typically your closing costs are 2 to 3% of the loan value. That means if you have a $200,000 mortgage, your closing costs could be anywhere from $5,000 to $6,000. Now, if you're renting, usually the landlords ask for first month's, last month's, and security as a down payment. So the next step in buying your own home is going to be getting pre-approved. Now, there's a couple of reasons of why that's the next step, but the biggest reason why you want to get pre-approved prior to going out and taking a look at other properties is because if you see a property that you might like, you want to be able to jump on that. And if you put an offer in and you're not pre-approved, the odds are the seller is not going to accept it. Another reason why you should get pre-approved prior to going to look at properties is because you got to know what you can afford. And if you're looking at $500,000 properties, but you're only able to afford $250,000 properties, that's going to be an issue, especially if your offer gets accepted and you go all the way to the closing table and you can't get the loan. I've been in that scenario before, and it's definitely not a good one. So how to get pre-approved is what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go to either a local bank or a local lender, someone that you know and trust and you already have a relationship with. If you don't have somebody that you already have a relationship with or you don't already have an account with, what I probably recommend doing is just asking around. Ask your parents, ask your friends, ask your family to see if they know anyone that they like and trust. In order to get you pre-approved, the bank is most likely going to need some form of W-2s. They're going to need all your bank statements. They're going to need how much you pay in credit card debt. They're going to need your income statements, and they're going to need all your expenses so they can figure out how much they'd be willing to lend you. And once you get them all that information and they give you a pre-approval letter, that's when you go find a realtor, and that brings us to the next step. For step 3, please like and subscribe, and that way I can start creating more video and more content for you guys. Thank you, and have a nice day.